we have a really emotion-packed chapter for JJK 259, and we gotta really talk about it. So first, the chapter opens up with Yuji, Choso, and Kamo talking. And Yuji's talking to Choso. He's like, yo, can you teach me convergence? But Choso's like, nah, I'm not really a good teacher. To which, Kamo kind of speaks about how blood manipulation and convergence actually works. Because as we know, he's also a blood user, which is cool. Choso's like, yo, I can at least teach you, the supernova attack. But Kamo kind of basically rebukes the suggestion. He's like, yeah, Yuji probably should learn blood manipulation only so he can learn how to stop bleeding and basically not die from blood loss. So Choso actually gets really sad about this and is like, damn, I can't even teach Yuji anything kind of thing. It's like, damn, the one thing that I could probably help him with, it's not really useful for him to learn. It's also revealed that the second person Yuji switched with was Yuta, which I think a lot of people were talking in the comments. I know it was like maybe 2 chapters ago. It was very interesting because I remember thinking, okay, well, he switched with, I think it was Kusakabe, and he switched back. That's why I thought the whole thing was, okay, it was one switch back. But it seems like he had 2 switches in general. So the second person was Yuta, which obviously brings up a lot of ideas on what new abilities Yuji might have from switching with Yuta. And we go back to where Sukuna is, and as we know, he had the whole, I think it's called furnace attack prepared. And it is basically spoken about that after going through the cooking process of dismantling cleave, which we know Sukuna has that cooking theme, it leaves the door for Kamino to open. And although it lacks the speed relative to its fire, it has a narrator effect range. It's kind of basically just speaking about how it's not as powerful as those techniques. It still has its uses. To which we know Sukuna, who's a lot of people in the comments were saying a binding vow merchant, he uses another binding vow on himself. So if you're tired of Sukuna binding vows, it is what it is. You gotta just eat that for I can't lie. We see Urame and Hikari who are still fighting, which I'm gonna get on Hikari at some point in time. Urame sees the flame arrow and is like, yo, this is our win, as the narrator basically continues to explain that Kamino's heat results in decompression and overpressure, leading to the death of living things inside the domain. This is Sukuna's ultimate technique that slaughtered Maharage in one strike. We knew about it. We knew that the flame arrow was really powerful. And I think this is we get to at least explain why it's so crazy. So don't be surprised if people just start dropping dead. This is basically a flame attack that's supposed to kill everyone in sight. Before the flames can actually hit Yuji and Choso sacrifices himself. And he does this by making a barrier of what we presume to be all of his blood, which he uses to protect Yuji. And as obviously without any blood, he's gonna slowly die. So he's like, yo, I'm sorry for being useless during your training. And it's a really, really sad emotional scene where it's like, well, Yuji and Choso call each other's name and they're just basically just talking and it's sad. And then we basically get I think it's kind of a soul world thing, similar to what happened when Gojo died, where Choso and Yuji are in this imaginary soul world. And Choso's like, yo, good job, Yuji, for learning RCT. You learned it faster than I did. And Yuji's like, nah, it's not really me. It's more about Sukuna. I use his body, so that's why I achieved it. But Choso's like, nah, it's cool, bro. Like, this is what older brothers want. They want their little brothers to surpass them. That's how it normally is. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. Choso's not even a character that I really rep. Like, Choso's a cool guy, but he's not even a character that I really rep. That hit my heartstrings. I'm like, damn. Yuji already had a big brother too, but Choso really did Yuji's role of being a big brother, and it's sad to see him go like this. We'll see how Yuji reacts to all this, but yeah, Yuji basically scolds Choso, like, yo, you can't die, you can't disappear. And Choso's like, yeah, my fault. I'm gonna apologize to Yuki as well, which we know she died a while ago. And he's like, I'm sorry for leaving you alone again. And Yuji's like, nah, it's okay. You were by my side this whole time. Even when times were tough, like, this is way more than enough. It means something to me. It just hurts, you know what I'm saying? We basically get Choso talking with his other brothers, Eso and Kechisu, I think I never knew how to pronounce it, I can't lie. They're talking about, oh, they're cold, and Choso's like, yeah, it's okay, let's talk. If we talk together, we'll forget about the cold. 150 years we experienced was only a few days for Yuji. It's just sad, bro. It's really just a sad chapter with that, Choso dying. Shout out him, he held it down. I think he definitely did what he needed to, protecting Yuji in the very end, so that's what a big brother should. But it's still sad overall. And we jump right, there's no time to be sad because we're jumping back into reality. And Choso departs with his final words, thank you, Yuji, for being my brother. And Yuji says goodbye to Choso as he finally says, thank you, big brother. But I think that's a big thing because I'm pretty sure Yuji never, I don't actually remember, but Yuji might have never called Choso his big brother or something like that, which is, it's still sad that it's the last time he did it. Okay, so this is very important. The last time Yuji experienced a heavy amount of death or death in such a high dosage was in Shibuya. And he was in the dirts. He was in the slums. He was cooked. His ideologies were shattered. And I think it's a similar thing here because we see the narrator kind of talking and he's like, whoa. Yuji convinced himself that he was a cog. No matter what happened, he was meant to fulfill his role. But as the scorched earth's heat begins to push his way, it shook the foundation of his resolve. The foundation to repay his brother who had sacrificed his life to protect him. And as everything crumbles down, Yuji just like helplessly asks, like, guys, someone. And that it's actually kind of sad because you gotta remember, Yuji's like, I think 14, 15, maybe, because he's a first year. Yuji's a little ass kid. He's a little kid. And it's sad because, like, yeah, Yuji's pushing through all the pain and all that. He's, you know, he's strong, he's fighting. But at the end of the day, he's a little 14-year-old kid, and it's like, damn. And we're seeing it with this part where it's like, he dead ass is so sad. Like, Yuji hasn't been this down to earth, or he hasn't been this fallen in despair since Shibuya. Shout out Gege, because I ain't gonna lie. Shout out me too, because I made a video about Todo and how Todo was coming back, or how either Todo should come back, or what happened to him might have been a waste of a character. And people were like, his role was fulfilled. I was like, okay, I hear you, but I think there was more. And Gege he must have watched my video and he was like, yeah, you right. Because Todo comes through, which is actually so hype. I'm surprised it actually happened, but Todo's here. And it's actually great because this is going to be, the second time that Todo literally comes specifically to ensure that Yuji doesn't fall apart mentally. And Yuji hopelessly sees Sukuna coming towards him. Like, it's the end of the show. We're going to all die. But Todo basically arrives at the battlefield to help his brother. So that's hard. I love Todo. Todo's one of my favorite characters. I don't think that Yuji couldn't have both Todo and Choso in his life, but I think that this is a great way to do it. He built so much of a bond with Choso, and then Todo comes. It seems like Todo's a very great character to kind of snap Yuji out of the nonsense whenever he's going through stuff. And we're seeing this again. It's just amazing. I gotta run my victory lap, honestly, because I called this like 2 weeks ago, you know what I'm saying? So shout out me. Shout out Gay, because I made the video about Todo, but I didn't think that he would ever do it. But I know a lot of people in the comments are saying that Todo's just back so he can die, which I'm hoping that's not the case. But we really just kind of have to see that. But we instantly get a flashback, and Todo and Mei are basically talking about how they plan to rescue people trapped inside of Sukuna's domain. Mei is going to use her crowd and Todo's boogie woogie to get people outside, since, you know, Sukuna's domain doesn't instantly kill, which is a little confusing because Todo shouldn't have his curse technique, which I ain't gonna lie, I said that was a little cap because his arm is gone. But Todo, he said he can't guarantee their lives, but he'll give it his all. So Mei says since Todo's outside of Sukuna's domain, he has to expand his curse technique range by a lot. So she asks if he can really do that with those arms. And Todo's basically like, I'm not really sure if I can, but I can feel the heartbeat of Boogie Woogie, which I was saying, like, I get Boogie Woogie has its weakness or whatever, like it has the thing where he has to clap with his two hands, but isn't the whole point of curse techniques you're supposed to evolve? Like we saw with Gojo. Gojo was able to evolve Infinity. After we learn more about curse energy in general, he was able to make his curse technique more effective and learn Red. So I feel like with Todo just becoming better as a sorcerer, he should have been able to bypass that limitation, in my opinion. But so we'll see how that plays out and whatnot. But Todo basically says like, yo, they can't let Yuji know of the plan because Yuji and Sukuna were two souls in one body. Even though it's the past, that connection itself is strong, which I think is pretty surprising because if they're sharing a mind link, that's a bigger problem than we really know right now. So yeah, there's a possibility that their plan is unknowingly being spilled to Sukuna. And the narrator says even though Todo was uncertain of his allies' safety and couldn't manage to move Choso and Yuji outside because both of them were right at the center of the domain, he couldn't explain this all to Yuji. So Todo tries to encourage him by saying, I'm sorry, brother, but there are other sorcerers, which I guess is probably right. I don't know what the plan with that is, but we gotta do it our best, man, Yuji. I'm sorry, bro, we couldn't save Choso, but we can at least save you, so we got to tee up. And Yuji and Todo rush towards Sukuna as the narrator reveals that Sukuna is now at a state where it's difficult to use his curse technique after the domain expansion. And the editor's comment at the end is the path to victory linked by the brothers. Bro. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, y'all gotta go and watch that video, bro. I literally talked about how Todo could really help Yuji out. And seeing this play out is amazing. Again, I love Todo. I think just talking about early JJK, Todo was one of those characters that he was just beloved. Everyone loved him. And I think that's a well-deserved thing. It's amazing to see Todo, and maybe we can see more about how we can do with this Boogie Woogie. It might be more of an advancement. It's good. It's great to see Todo again. I love Todo. Obviously, sad that Choso's dead. I ain't gonna lie, we're losing JJK characters by the flies. They're just falling apart. By the end of JJK, we might just have Yuji, and that's it. I don't know. This is bad, but let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Let me know if you guys thought that Todo should come back or if he shouldn't have. Choso shouldn't have died. Your overall thoughts on the chapter. I think this is a really good chapter, but I want to know what you guys think as well. But I'm out, so peace.